Have a look at this.
What's that? What's that? When's that from?
On IG.
Is that today?
1 minute ago.
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with that?
Because I know you're not connected to said
I don't
post.
pay attention to a lot of it.
No, there's no said post, meaning there is no link between your stuff and that person's stuff.
Now we gotta start again, bro. Now,
Did you get tagged?
no.
Do you know why I'm laughing so hard? Because that comment would hurt bare people. Do you know how many people will cut someone out of a picture? Oh.
Hey, she's done it before.
Oh God.
She's a nutter, mate. Favorite or fondest or favorite memory being abroad? Because I know we ain't doing that at the moment. So let's think back pre-2019.
I feel like I've probably been abroad more for sport than holiday. Fondest memory abroad. Let's have a think. I mean, when I was 14, I went to Holland to play in the youth friendship games. Had a ball. There's no money involved. You're just playing basketball. There is no. I challenged the best guy at the tournament to a 1-on-1. I beat him 11-10.
Yeah.
Like it's just everything's just so like you're doing it because it's fun.
Yeah.
There's no politics. There's no nothing.
That's good then.
Being in Florida and playing basketball outside in the hurricane was jokes because
it was a hurricane, bro.
It was like flash hurricane. It's just like it hit hard and it stopped hard and it stopped.
Careful out here. You need to shoot. The wind takes the ball 3 inches to the left.
I've got a lot. Like I don't feel like I think living in Italy was great and bad at the same time. It was bad internet and just like being in the same place. It was beautiful.
Yeah, they sort your Wi-Fi out, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was beautiful because you go from one town to another. They're all different and they're all kind of like 50 years behind us.
What do you mean?
Like they won't have the latest stuff. Like I'm going to a restaurant paying premium prices but sitting on a garden deck chair.
Yeah, but that's just like authentic Italian stuff, isn't it?
No, that's just cheap. That's just like cheap. But yeah, just I couldn't even pinpoint it, to be fair.
What would be if you was to visit somewhere again and it not be like not like the same time, but just to visit a place for a week now, where would you go?
Oh man, there'll be a few places I want to go.
No, you gotta pick one. That's the game.
I've already been to?
Yeah, you've been there.
Florida. Hell yeah.
What are you doing in Florida?
Man, I'm going to see the whales.
Yeah.
The ones that they're going to SeaWorld because everyone's boycotting SeaWorld. So there'll be
because you've seen Blackfish, bro.
Yeah, but mate, there's gonna be no queues. Like it's still
there's gonna be no whales soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'll go there while there still are. Well, I do like America.
I can imagine you getting way too excited over whales splashing you, bro.
Brother, there's sit 24 seats back here.
We've got to see the front. We get splashed the hardest. That's you, bro.
There's no way.
That is you.
I was like, you know how we people, black people do.
What?
I'll play with that.
What, whales?
The water, fam.
Why?
It's hot, fam. I'm not trying to get so. What?
If it's hot, it's nice getting like.
What?
Bit wet.
Trainers.
What kind of trainers were it?
Probably Jordans. But that's probably.
I be a nice slider game, mate.
I probably don't have like fondest like place I'd want to. I like being in different places. I'm like that kind of generation, like Z type. Like I like being everywhere, like traveling new places all the time and like discovering myself and
your wanderlust, isn't it?
Yeah. What about you though? Because you've been to you deliberately go to places to just
see what's going on.
Yeah,
a little bit. Like you've gone for like sport and athleticism reasons. I've gone
and
for
height reasons. Yeah, height athleticism reasons.
Ain't for the personality, bro. Is it?
Of course, I'd been there. we wouldn't stay down there.
Again, what do you call it? I don't know. I just went traveling for I just done a big stint of it. So I've been on holidays and stuff for like a couple of weeks or 2 weeks and stuff. And then I saved up, I think it was like 11K from like doing PT for a couple of years. And I was like, I'll sack it off and let's go around Asia for however long. And it was about 9 months I went around for. So I spent just over $1,000 each month, which is quite good going. But like I was also there being like, there's nothing that I'm wanting to do that I'm not doing. I'm there going, bro, I do what I want. I'm only doing this once, or what I think at the moment. Unless I win the lottery or something, I don't be able to again because it's like
see ya.
got other shit to be doing now as well. But I mean, still going on holidays and like traveling on holidays where it's not like a 5-star resort place. Like I said earlier, me and Jess went to India for 3 weeks, and we went to like 4 different places in Kerala. Then went to Varanasi and Delhi. So it's kind of like it was a bit of a traveling backpacking holiday for 3 weeks. But I went to, I think it was 10, maybe 9 different countries. Yeah, it's 9 different countries in 9 months. So I spent about an average of a month in each one. And it depends, man, because if I'm going back somewhere for like the people and the atmosphere and like the sun and all that, then I'd say Sri Lanka. Because I remember me and this guy called Indica, who was a fisherman, and bro, I'm a fisherman at heart, innit? You know what I mean? So
I thought he was a garden gnome, but
but they got the rods, innit? It's still in there somewhere in the background, bro. Yeah. And but I remember I went on a snorkeling thing where I just want to go snorkeling at this like corally place, and you normally get like a couple of people. I was like, fuck it, let's just do it, and it's a bit more expensive, but this is me. And then he was like, oh, do you want to go night fishing tonight? Like, it just randomly asked me, and I was like, yeah, I've never been night fishing, why not? And so I met him back there, about sunset, and it was me, Indica, his little boat buddy, and a guy who owned a restaurant, but like, it was an English guy who'd settled down in Australia. So there was 4 of us on a boat, probably like the bit you could stand in was about from this chair to the end of that chair. So it wasn't like a busy big boat or anything. And we're going out. Sri Lanka is like one of the deepest waters off the coast. So you get like blue whales and stuff because it's just straight. There's nothing from Sri Lanka or the tip of India. The next thing you get to is Antarctica. There's no like other lands. Do you know what I mean? So it goes mad deep. And I remember being out there letting out this net, and then he gave me a bamboo stick with like a net at the end of it, and we're shining lights over the end, plunging it in, trying to catch some calamari to use as bait as thrown over side. But the bit that made me go, I'm really aware of how deep it is now, is that you're seeing like schools of like this thing going underneath you and like getting like proper like quite down low. But then it's also when we caught a bit of calamari, he then like baits it up, like cuts up whatever, puts over there. So they don't have like a fishing rod, they just have like basically like a line round, like it's like a wheel of, I don't know, it's like a hula hoop, not a hula hoop, but like a circular thing where it's just it's got like a little groove in it, so the line stays in there. You just do it by hand. But he done it for about 5 minutes, mate, letting this like line out and nowhere near the bottom at all, obviously. And then he felt like a yak pulled it up, and it was like a fish like that, but meaty, mate, and huge. I'm just there being like it's pitch black. It's up. We was out there till about 4 or 5 in the morning.
You couldn't get me out there. Why not? I don't play with boats.
Why not?
I don't like.
I love a boat, man.
I hate a boat.
Why do you hate a boat?
I hate deep waters. I don't play with that.
Why?
Could not get me on a boat.
Why not? We're not jumping in there, geez.
Brother, what if you fell off?
Well, then I'll get back in the boat.
And so I touched your foot.
What is a little squid touched my foot?
I'm a sick swimmer, right? I don't care anyone. I can swim.
Yeah.
I do not play with the ocean.
But I was literally like, say this is the boat side here, yeah? I'm like leaning over the edge, so it's just my legs in the boat, and then plunging this thing in. But I got to know them, and they were like, "Oh, you're like cool enough to hang around with, I suppose," rather than it being that's fishing done now. So I met like his boss, who like owned half the harbour, and he was boasting, saying he works with like Donald Trump and all this thing, and just like he just knows rich white people. Do you know what I mean? But so I'd like go on fishing trips with them. So for like a week or 2, I was there, and I'd go on different fishing trips. We'd go on different riverboat trips. I'd like chill at the hut where they sell these things, like the snorkeling trips and whatever. And I'd like, if there was any language barrier, I'd help them out a bit. And every day they'd be like, "Here's some."
You speak Sri Lanka.
Yeah, no, it's just like English, bro. But I know what they're trying to say because I know the thing that they're trying to sell, and I'm like, it's actually this thing. But every day arak, which was like some like whiskey, stuff, drinking that and like fresh tuna steaks, they're like ridiculous amount every day. And that's it. Just be us. I'm there going, why would I move anywhere else, keys? Like I remember going, I'm going to go north in Sri Lanka to like Kandy, or it's like central, whatever. And I was like, bro, I've done that. I'm like, chill my boys, isn't it? I mean, like literally, there's 4 or 5 of us that would meet up every day, and we'd go and do random things. So the amount of times I got like better deals or better like actual authentic Sri Lankan food, or we'd go to like some local festival thing in Gaul, whatever, and help build a house in the jungle for some geezers. Like Indica didn't live in a house that was like had a door or anything. It was just a concrete shell, little roof, and then you'd sleep on the floor. And they had like him, his wife, and a couple of kids there. I had a birthday party for his wife. Just got pissed up, bro. It was good watching David Attenborough in his brother's like hut jungle thing, because they'd have like speakers and a TV, and they'd be sitting on like plastic garden chairs in a like concrete house because it's just jungle, bro. We don't need heating or anything. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that would be like the atmosphere I'd go back to, because I was like lads on tour, mate. But just
I'm gonna do that post-pandemic. I'm gonna do something large post-pandemic.
I reckon Nepal was one of my favourites though, like where I got lost, definitely, because I felt like a little ant on Earth, bro. You walk around on these like in the Himalayas, and you just like everything's massive. And I remember I went for like an 11-day or 10-day trek thing. I went with some American guy at the beginning, Connor, who was a bit younger than me. But he was like scout for the 9s, but I've been done all these treks before, and so I got a load of hints and tips of him, like mapping and where to go. And then he was like trying to do this like rush thing. He had to go back earlier than what I did, so at one point we split, and I done a bit more of a chill thing. So the hike I done probably could have taken me 6-7 days if I was like smashing it, but I wasn't smashing it. And I also wanted to go see like hot springs, which is like a jacuzzi in the river in the middle of the mountains, just stuff like that. But Nepal was nuts. It was one of the big surprises of I could stay here for a while, but I was only there for like 3 weeks.
This is making me depressed.
I know that we can't do that. It's like, do you know what's weird? Yeah, is I'm there going, oh, okay, I've got money to like do a bit of a trip, whatever, and I can book off a bit of work. And the fact that I'm not really working, it's like I can come in and do like bits around the club to help out, and like when we're doing the place up or like the podcast. But now there's like, it seems like it's the perfect time where if you wanted to go on a trip, you could. But it's weird that if I actually wanted to and done all the bits to do it, they wouldn't allow me to. It feels weird, man.
But I am getting to the point where if there wasn't this kind of quarantine hotel and all, I would have gone. I know people went during the second one, but I was just too paranoid that I was going to be in a country and then I'm going to have to rush back because the UK was closing the border. I just didn't want to do it. Yeah. But the second I can go, I'm going to be like...
it's weird that it will probably be in the summer, which is where they can do that.
I don't think it's going to be the summer.
No, but I think of it as it will be the time where it's boiling hot in England and you want to go away to get some sun. And then I'll go on a trip, spend a load of money, have all the stress of like, is it going to shut down, whatever. And then it'd be like average weather in like Africa or something. And then I'm there going as if. And now I'm back home and it's winter. Do you know what I mean? That's what will happen. Where would you go on the next trip if you could go anywhere?
I've always wanted to go to the Azores Islands off of Portugal.
Why? I've never heard of them.
They're in the middle of the Pacific. I just remember looking at the globe one day.
Like what, you think that's like mad far away from everywhere?
I think A is mad far, but B, it's like they're mini islands. So you spend a day or two on an island. You go to another island and another island, but you can take boats to either island.
Rather than in the Gili Islands.
But the reason I want to go there because too many people go to the Gili Islands, and I just feel like for me, the next place I want to go to, I just don't want to be around loads of people speaking English. I just want to be around when I go on holiday, I like to be around people that are just not. People go like Magaluf to basically be.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's like England in Spain. It's like
they just want England night out in a better weather place.
Yeah, where what happens out there stays out there. Like, I've never really been big on that sort of stuff anyway. But I've always wanted to do. I will do more traveling after this. Like I had planned last.
I think everyone's going to want to do some more traveling after this.
Last year, before the pandemic,
it's a pandemic.
I was meant to go to Nigeria. Akid's wedding.
Oh yeah.
I was meant to go to Venice.
Yeah.
I was meant to go to California. And then on top of that, I was going to take weekend trips anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me now. I'm in Casablanca sandwich.
Yeah. Wearing a weight vest.
Wearing a weight vest.
Doing a podcast because that's everything you're allowed to do.
Because I'm hard. Yeah. I feel like I'm breaking the rules. Like, freaking. I don't know, man. I think everyone's going through the same frustration. I think everyone's kind of trying to pin it on something else, or they stop communicating with people. Or I think the big one that I'm hearing a lot is, you know, I can't talk to you because like a lot of people are feeling like it's harder on them than other people. If that makes sense. And I think
making a victim out of it.
Yeah, making themselves more of a victim and just, I don't know.
Why can't they talk to anyone though?
I don't know. Like, this is the sort of stuff that I find it funny. Like, I know a lot of people are going through stuff. And I think if you're going through stuff, the last thing you want to do is stop communicating with people.
Yeah, you need to like bring people on board, mate.
Just tell them, like, they not going on talk.
Yeah. Have you ever killed anything?
Yeah, I remember back in the day there was an ant farm. I had to flood it.
So I haven't killed it personally, yeah. This little personal story.
Okay.
Is that when I was in India, I was with Mrs. And we was in Kerala, so South India.
Did you kill a cow?
No, I didn't kill a cow.
Okay. I just wanted to.
So a cow's a sacred. You can't kill a cow in India. But we're in Kerala, which is like a lot of it's vegetarian. Yeah. So a lot of it's like, right, even now have like Domino's or McDonald's, but like pure vegetarian chains of it. So you don't get no meats or nothing. And it's weird because they're just that big on it. And I think it's because they're, I think Hindus.
Hindus or Sikhs.
No, I think Sikhs can eat meat. I think it's Hindus that are a bit more, you can't have that. But that's like one of the most popular ones in India. So anyway, we're in South Carolina. It's been maybe like 2 weeks since I've eaten anything that's not Indian and spicy as anything, bro. I like dosas. Dosas are good. There's like a potato pancake thing with like a bit of veg in it.
Wouldn't know.
Basically, it's different vegetables, bread, and then like a little curry sauce, like dip stuff in. That's all you eat. Yeah.
Some dip.
Different chip, bro.
Different chip.
This is where it's like they didn't have much meat in any of their meat dishes, if any. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of it's vegetarian. So I'm there going, where's my protein eggies? You know what I mean? They can get a certain amount through these things, but not a lot of it.
Did you lose weight?
Yeah, I lost like half a stone, I think, for 3 weeks. Yeah, isn't that? Jess lost like 8 kilos, but that's because she got E. coli at the end. Like, there was like the second or the last day or something. We went to like some really posh restaurant. So we'd been eating maybe like £2.50 meals for the whole time, for like both of us, so it's India, right? Yeah. And then one of the days was like, let's treat ourselves, go to a Michelin star restaurant, get like a tasting menu, cost us 150 quid for both of us.
So you've been spending 250 a day.
And then now we spent 150 quid on it was like 8-course meal, but it's still like 8 courses like this big, bro. You know what I mean? After that, she was sick. And she was like...
So you spent 150 quid to be sick, and you're spending £2.50 on a meal.
Oh, that's sick though, but she was sick. And they go, we didn't do anything or eat anything that weren't the same. But from what the tests came back afterwards, we don't think it was anything on that day. It was like something that must have happened like a week or two earlier in Kerala, because we went from like south to north.
How long was you there for?
Just over 3 weeks or 3 weeks. But anyway, back to the original story, because that's going to happen quite a lot. So we're in South Carolina. I haven't had meat in ages, and any of the meat is like not very nice. And bro, I like Indian food, yeah. But there's certain times and certain types of Indian food I like. So when I'm getting up for 5, 6 in the morning to go for a safari thing, and then the free food you get with it in the morning at like 6 a.m. is spicy egg curry, and I'm there being like, I'm alright, geez. So basically, we decided to go on a hunt for some meat. Yeah. So we're looking around. There's like these little stall places. It's all a bit like poverty, like side of it, because it's just South Carolina. It's just like old India. So looking around, there's like some meat signs, and it's like a hunk of slab meat that's been there for like 4 or 5 days, and you're just like, oh no, I don't know about that, man. So anything that was there before didn't look fresh, didn't look good.
People were buying and eating that, right?
People buying and eating it, bro. India's like, their immune system must be nuts, bro. Check the COVID in India. I bet it's like 4.
It's not there.
That's what I'm saying. Because they're just used to it. They're like, E. coli. I like that. Side of salmonella, bro. You know what I mean? And just don't know.
Malaria.
Yeah. but no, they're strong because they like hygiene wise, they're clean and stuff. It's just like, I think it's the food that they just have. It just gets left out a little bit, and they go, "Oh, that's right, still." So anyway, we look around. We saw a fish sign, and we was like, "Okay, maybe fish." The fish looked grim as well because it'd been there like the whole day and stuff. And the only thing I saw a chicken sign, and I was able like, "Oh, we can have chicken." I saw some satay and some peanuts and stuff, so we can maybe have like a satay chicken rather than like a spicy curry thing. Because Jess is a chef, so I can get her to cook, and she loves cooking anyway. So we go there, and we walk up, and we was like, "Do you sell chicken? Do you sell meat?" And he was like, "Yeah, sell chicken." And I was like, "Okay, where's the it's not, you're not inside anywhere, but it's like half a concrete shell, like open plan kind of thing." We walk in a little bit, and there's just a little chicken coop with about 10, 15 chickens in it, and they're just sitting there like, you know what I mean, just chilling. And he was like, "Do you want a chicken?" And me and Jess looked at each other, and we was a bit like, "Oh, I don't know about." But then I'm there going, I said to her, I was like, "It's a bit weird if we go to the supermarket, eat chicken like every day or every other day."
You can go and buy 10 legs.
That's what I'm saying.
About the 5 chickens that's
what I'm saying. So I was there being like, it's a bit hypocritical of us. I think if we can go to a supermarket back at home and get chicken, and we'll get some sort of meat. But then if we're not okay with doing this bit, it's just part of the process that is hidden to us a bit more. So he was like, "Do you want this chicken?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll have some chicken." He picked it up, it's all like, he put it on some scale and was like, "It's this much." So it was like £1 or £2 or something for this chicken. And they do it halal in it. So I was just, that's not a bit of me, mate.
What's that? Slit the throat,
slit the throat, and then it's like flapping loads and getting nuts and everything. And then he just takes it on a screen and like butchers it. And but the weirdest bit, was I'm used to taking home a carry bag of like cellophaned like meat and all this stuff. This is a chicken where it's plucked most of all, like if not all the feathers off in there. But the carrot bag's warm as anything is, and that's what makes me be like, this isn't. Oh, it wasn't that good, man. We went home, or went to the treehouse where we were staying. Pretty much, we had the kitchen in, cooked some chicken, had some satay chicken, and then the next day I was a little bit ill. And I think it might have been if we washed the chicken or if we didn't prep it properly or something. But guess what, which also makes me think that it was something else on my end, because I was having as much beef fry and chicken fry out there, and that's the stuff that gets left for like 3-4 days and then it gets cooked. So the fact that I was a little bit ill and she wasn't, and we both had it, makes me think it weren't that. But she also got ill later on, so I don't know if it's like delayed immune systems or whatever. But the point is that we both walked away from it going, I wouldn't want to be doing that every day. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll probably not even like I'll eat meat less or more often now, or like changes my outlook on it. It's more that I'm conscious of that being part of it as I'm eating meat now. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever done anything like that?
I mean, I had lamb. I was in Guildford. I had lamb, and I just remember.
What do you kill the lamb?
Lamb shank.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you kill the lamb then?
No, I'm just similar thing. Like this is what could put me off meat. Like period. Like I just remember I got home and I was throwing up all night.
Really?
And it cut my trachea at the back of my throat.
What? Because you was heaving that bad?
No, because of bone.
Bro, what are you eating bone for?
No, a bone. Like a very small fragment of the lamb bone. It's very small. Must have cut it. And I'm throwing up.
How big a gulps are you having where a lamb comes down your throat?
I'm a full-grown male, so I take big bites. I was throwing up. And then, do you know when you're like, I can't throw up anymore, but I need to throw up? And I started throwing up and there's just blood. I was like, ugh. So
I never got that bad.
Yeah, it's just like, that's the only thing that's put me off meat, like, in general.
Bro, the next day, so we went up for some walk up a mountain. And So I'm walking up here and I'm there going, oh, I'm knackered, geez. Like, just a bit tired. But it's morning, geez. That's why I think I'm tired anyway. And what do you call it? Yeah, see it probably. So walking up, on the way up, I ate a banana. They was giving me like a banana thing. And then we was with another couple. So it was me and Jess and this other couple. And then we're on some trail where it's like well thin. You can't, because it's like you're walking around this like mountain thing.
Yeah.
So there's all like overhanging trees and all this, and you're like keeping to the edge. And they're walking behind me. I'm there going, I might be sick, see if you can, like, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I'm feeling a bit rough. As they're walking past me, because I'm like leant over looking in trouble, they're walking past like chest to back kind of thing. I then went, literally, it sprayed so much, and I felt so sorry for these people, because I was just like, I'd say about 3 or 4 times blowing it everywhere, I was blowing chunks, you know what I mean? And then the best thing was, they were like, we're going to go, oh, the tour hasn't finished yet, even though I'm struggling. Yeah. So if we get down to the end of the mountain, and then we got to go on a tuk-tuk ride to some waterfall. Bro, the roads in India and the tuk-tuk, no suspension gears. So I'm like this, bro, yeah, like constantly. And then as it's going, and as loads of people are going, just at the side of the tuk-tuk. And then they're like, oh, we're at the waterfall. And I was like, bro, I don't care about the waterfall, man. I'm just going to sit here for a bit, sick a couple of times on my own, had a little teary moment to myself. And then we'll come back and I went to bed, bro. That was it. I had that like once in India. One time I went there first, and my mum came visit. I weren't ill at all. But the second time I was ill. But yeah, I felt sorry for a couple, man. We got way too close.
I mean, in Lithuania, we had tilapia. It's like a river fish. Fucking dirt.
Why is it?
I want to give that to it just tastes like mud, sand, and urine mixed together with a bit of paprika. It was. I took half a bite and went to the store and just got things I knew. Like, I don't know what it is about, I don't know, British people or whatever, but if we don't know it, we're not always kind of willing to like really try and indulge in it.
Yeah.
But for me, I mean, I'm funny with food anyway, so I don't try things. I look at most things, I'm like, I'm cool. Yeah. Question time.
Because I'm asked like I think 2 or 3 now. You're one, but you're lacking.
All right, Chris Tarrant. Let me think of a question. Lockdown question. Keep me motivated. What? Damn, I can't.
Sick question, bro. You legit. I'm not. How long are you doing this podcast for, mate? Years,
doing it for about 5 years. Man, to be honest with you.
Run out of content.
Since I was your height.
5 years ago, yeah?
Yeah, not even about.
How old are you, bro?
I'm 28, so that would have been. I was your height about like 27 years ago.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to many schools.
Okay, so tell me a bit about what schools you went to.
I was born in Canterbury, which is not part of the question. So I went to school in Dyes and Painsmith Primary School.
Yeah.
Got suspended from there twice. I went to a school down the road from here, East Court. It's like Hogwarts. It was in Ramsgate. It was the school for dyslexia and dyspraxia. So I am classed as both, but ended up being a professional basketball player with dyspraxia, which is hilarious. Then I went to Archbishop's, the greatest basketball school in the area.
Oh my God,
so we dogged your school at basketball.
Bro, you didn't dog our school.
We dogged your school. The reason why we didn't play in the Kent Cup is because we dogged your school so badly.
You didn't dog it though. We played 2 games. We won 1 game against you. You won 1 game.
The first game we played, we beat you, and my teacher was like, "What's the point playing in the Kent Cup if these boys just won the?"
But then the first game you won it, and then the second game we won.
Yeah, but I'm talking to enter the Kent Cup. We had already beat the champions.
But once. So you're 50-50 maybe.
But my teacher's logic was, let's focus on like rugby and football and taking the kids out. And I think he wanted me to play rugby as well.
That's why he wanted you to play rugby. Because you did go out playing rugby.
Yeah, I did.
Name 3 sports you really enjoy as a kid and 1 you still really enjoy now.
Rugby, basketball, kiss chase. But I still enjoy kiss chase. What about you?
Well, kiss chase ain't up there, bro.
I mean, it's not legal still, is that?
I don't think so.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Well, you got willing participants in the game of kiss chase.
I don't remember.
It can't just be like, I'm playing now.
I was like year 3. I was fast.
It sounds so grim, man. I was the fastest guy out there, bro. You can escape my kisses.
No chapstick.
Who are you playing with, bro?
No chapstick.
Who are you playing with, though? Like teachers, man.
I wish.
Yeah.
That was teaching.
Bro, some of the, you know what I mean?
What school did you go to? You went Canterbury High. So I finished Canterbury High and then I went to the States, went to the master's school.
Yeah. So that's your little education background.
Yeah.
You go uni?
I went University of Worcester as well.
Oh, okay.
Marketing.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Man.
What about you? Where'd you go?
So I went to Whitstable, like junior school.
But lived in Margate?
No, I lived in Whitstable for a while because I lived with like my granddad and my mum. And then I moved to Margate with my mum, finished Whitstable Junior School, and then went to Canterbury High. And I was at Canterbury High from year 7 to, so I know you joined like sixth form.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like when, because we knew each other through sport. But we never really like hung out that much. You know what I mean? Like, the first time we met was American football camp. Yeah, man, we smashed it.
It was the competition.
Yeah, I didn't see him if it was there. But so we've done American football camp.
But then we did
and then basketball
under 16s. We did under 16s.
Under 16 Crusaders, yeah. You recruited me, you scouted me. I
didn't really scout you. I just said if you're that good, come play.
And then I did play.
And then we completed it.
But Canterbury High, and then done like a lot of sports stuff, done BTEC sport to do with like the academy stuff. Basketball academy, obviously. Although I was like in two minds over to go basketball or rugby because I knew that I liked basketball more and I liked the social aspect of basketball more compared to the rugby. But I knew that I could go further in rugby than I could in basketball just because of my build and that. Because I was good at both, I thought, but I just like basketball more. And then went to Derby University, done sports and exercise science. Now we're here, bro.
Now we're here. So
sports, I was always like, again, it was basketball and rugby, and then I don't know, man. Other sports, I'm just like. Yeah,
so there's not a third sport for you.
There's gulag of sport, bro.
Gulag. For certain people, like that's a full-time job. So those are your three sports. If there was a sport you think you could have gone pro,
I think rugby. What
position?
Scrum off. I was banging scrum off. Like I was like quick off the go. I had good acceleration. So my first like 10, 20 meters, I'm like, but then I didn't really have much of a top speed. I've always been chunky, but I feel like that I wasn't like a slow moving chunky person. So I was like bullied other scrum halves because they're notoriously quite little and dainty because they're like nippy. But yeah, I remember losing a load of weight and then like trimming down, played like in the back. So I played like inside centre a couple of times. And I was like, it's all right, but I liked.
It's not the same.
Scrum half, you like navigate the game a lot more. So I'll scream my head off half time, connecting the forwards to the backs and making sure everyone knows what they're doing. So then I could see that, and I wasn't done with it. He's like, I'm not like, oh, keep it in the forwards the whole time. If there was a load of space, I'm kicking off at them to pass it out, back out. If there's no space or we're having a bad day running, or it's like the ball's really slippery and they keep dropping and stuff, I'm there going, you chill out, mate, keep a bit closer. And that's what I liked about it. I liked navigating a bit more.
The tactics.
Yeah, and tactics and stuff. But I played for Whitstable for the whole time, I played like 15 years or whatever. And it was basketball that injured me, and I was out of both sports for a while. And then when I came back, I'm like, yeah, I like basketball, play with basketball a bit more. But I never really, I think after that, I never really went, oh, let's try and do this, and this is the only thing. It was let's do a career within this industry somehow, rather than being a professional athlete. Like, I don't know if it's because I didn't think I could do it, or didn't have or the injury or the ability, or what it was, but I really like training.
So, oh, good. Yeah. If it wasn't for the social aspect, I think rugby was my favourite sport. I just dealt with too much racism. Yeah. And Richard just sucked. Like, I liked the idea.
So I went in your team, and I didn't know anything about that until you briefly mentioned it. You didn't go too much detail.
No, I just... Like, it was just horrendous. Like, I just remember, like, I didn't tell my mum because, you know, my mum would have gone crazy. I didn't tell my mum till like 3 weeks later. Yeah. But she knew when I walked off the pitch, drawing a match, and didn't say a word. It was bad. But I've always enjoyed rugby. When I like look at like the England rugby team now, and I look at certain players, and I think pace-wise, I was pretty quick. I was like, I do
remember you as that quick guy. It was hard to tackle.
I was like, I could be that guy. And especially looking at my build now, I still have the same pace. Oh God, yeah. Mate, I'll come off camera right now. I'll show you if you want.
We're still practicing kiss chase. That's why, bro.
Well, I don't need to practice kiss chase. I'm too quick for that now. It's not legal. It's not legal anyway.
It's
not legal after 18. As
soon as you get above year 3, bro, you can't. You can't
legal
do
after 18,
chase.
apparently.
Yeah.
But no, I look at certain people like Anthony Watson, and I'm just like, I don't think he's an intelligent rugby player. I'd say he's got a credible physique for rugby, but I don't think he's a good rugby player. So when I was growing up, I looked at like Jason Robinson. I looked at. I
got annoyed at him, bro, because like, in the World Cup, I remember him. One of the tries he scored, he just caught the ball and he ran straight as quick as he could, and he scored and went around the outside. And I was like, why are you not doing that all the time?
Right?
Why are you known as this jittery little thing that don't end up going anywhere? Apart from inside, and then everyone can tackle you.
Either.
Mate, we weren't big, was it?
But then I look at him because I'd say he'd understand the art form of going in and out of players and stuff. Yeah. But when I looked at the purest form of rugby player, I wanted to be this Fijian winger. His name was Rupeni Faufau. He got banned in the Rugby World Cup 2003, just being just too physical and just being a mug. But he was fast but powerful.
But I remember Jonah Luma, bro. Do you remember Jonah Luma?
I thought Rupeni Faufau was Jonah Luma, but a winger.
Jonah Luma was a winger.
Was he?
He was just that big, bro.
Jesus Christ.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I definitely feel like, I reckon I could have gone pro rugby for sure. I don't even question it. Like even like height.
I don't think, because when I'm saying I think I could have got a bit further in rugby, than I don't think I could have gone pro, like wherever, that kind of stuff. But I feel like, I don't know, I'm quite tactical with the sports. So like when I'm playing sports, I think maybe in basketball as well, because I'm quite short. Like
you have to think.
I have to think and I have to outthink the person in front of me, because they've got that athletic edge of height, which is in basketball is massive. Do you know what I mean?
Athletic edge of height, that's just genetics, but okay.
We're doing that now, calling each other, we'll do it. But I suppose you got a height but no athletic edge, innit? So
I've got both. If you kind of liked both sports, what motivated you to even do either or?
I think the camaraderie for one. I like feeling part of a process which leads to bigger things. I think for a fact, like I know there's individual sports and individual athletes, but it's like I feel like the accomplishment is more when you win something as a team. A team,
because you've got to overcome personalities and their IQ. It's mad how much you've got to manage if you're deemed as intelligent.
But I like that. I think it instills a lot of discipline.
Oh God, yeah.
And it also, but I think also gets rid of ego. Whereas I think individual sports, there's more ego as well as there being a load of discipline. So I'm not saying that it's all bad to play individual sports, but I'm just thinking like, say if you're like a pro tennis player, it's like that's all on you, or boxing, that's all on you. So I can imagine the heightened feelings and emotions of winning and losing are more because it's just you.
Yeah.
But I do think that it creates a certain amount of ego where it's like if you keep doing well and you smash it, you're like, yeah, I'm this thing, I'm that thing. Whereas in the sport, you can be a high end, you can be LeBron James, but you're there going, it's still my team won. It's not just me.
But that's the difference. Like in individual sports, I love them. Like I think box, I like all of that, but you deal with it all by yourself. And it's not as frequent.
It's not as fun. Though.
It's not as fun either because you're basically, you need an entourage of coaches, but they're not necessarily going through it like you are. That's I like team sports because you're right. You have to. I think team sports teaches you a lot how to be a person as well. Like you can't just be a dick.
You can, but it would mess up the whole thing.
It does mess up the whole thing.
It wouldn't be like, oh, I want to be this dick person, but I'm just not going to because this thing. It would kind of train you to be like, that doesn't work. That doesn't help the situation. That doesn't benefit the situation. So because it's not just you, it's other people are factors and other people's weaknesses and strengths are factors. It's kind of like doing your cog and your role as efficiently as possible and then having to balance it out with everyone else's, I think gives you a bit more of a platform on how you do that in life because you accept that other people, and without being weird about being criticized and that, you accept that other people bet you and other things, but then you go, okay, but this thing I do really well, I'm going to smash this
and you
thing.
own it. You're quote unquote superstar in your role. That's the one thing I do love about sports. And it's almost like I know if I don't do my job to the best of my ability, this could all fail, and that's like being a part of the process.
But the thing that could all fail is bigger than you, rather than it being it's just you that fails, so you can take that hit and it's fine if you want to do that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, even if there's times in sports where you go, oh fuck, this isn't going well, or if we don't do this well, I can take that not happening well. But there's like how many people on your other team that aren't thinking, aren't in that headspace, and they want to just win. So you've got to do it for them as well as you, as well as the coach, as well as all the other stuff. That's why I really like team sports, man. And I think when I have kids, I want them to play some. I
think anyone that I've kind of been around for a long period of time that have never played team sports or had to be held accountable is very obvious.
Yeah,
because in sport you get a lot of flippant comments thrown your way that you're like, no, it's cool, I won't do that again. But it's not disrespectful. It's like, I need you to do your job.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing like a load of people that are not involved in sports, and you can't.
I think there's a lot of people who can't take any criticism to the point of you have to be saying something positive about them or how amazing they are. And then it's like, I've got to delicately work my way around them like they're a child. And I'm there being like, you should be able to take that being said, because that was what happened, or that was the outcome, or this has been the case a couple of times repetitively. If you just deny that or get defensive, that's never going to improve. Whereas when you're a part of a team sport, you have to take that criticism on board. Sorry, otherwise your team doesn't improve, because there's always a weak cog or just an in denial cog in the system, and it doesn't make any sense. And like one of the things it's all like psycho stuff in it, and it's like playing games, but one of the things that our coach done, and I know that what we do as coaches, and I know you said you've done it, is where someone's getting out of place and too ballsy and brash and thinking they're all it, whatever, having a go at other people that isn't benefiting and being a twat or not taking things seriously. And everyone else in the team runs, and you make them feel comfortable, because it's like, if you want to go down that route of it's just all about you, let's make it all about you. And when you do it to that point where you've got the teammates that you care about running until they're being sick or not being able to play basketball, and you're not taking any punishment whatsoever, it makes you go, I don't really want to do this.
But what's interesting, like now, I'm hearing a lot of like, especially the UK, they don't really run like that no more. Like the punishment is, you won't play basketball for a week. In America and other sports that are that we do in the UK, i.e. basketball, I remember we had to run 100 suicides in an hour and 20 minutes because we were like certain people on our team were failing. We all got punished because if he was failing in class, we're all failing in class.
But it's not even just a failing. I remember it being the discipline of it. So even in the runs, if we're doing 16 and 1 or whatever, and someone cuts the line or makes it short or doesn't actually go over the line, everyone else is still doing that run and repeating it afterwards. It doesn't count.
And that's what's so strange.
It makes you go, if I'm going to do something, I have to do it as well as I can do it, or not cut corners, or not.
There's no cutting corners, because like 16s and 1s, for those that don't know, is you're running sideline to sideline. There is 1, back is 2, and you've got a minute to do it. But even if you've done your 16, you run to the time's done. We're trying to get the most out. It's like really drilling down that concept of
everything counts and everything's got a point.
Everything has a point. Even if it's, if you're failing at maths and I'm failing at English, and you're great at English and I'm great at maths, we should actually be helping each other, because we're still on the same team. Like we're not here to watch one person struggle over the other. But likewise, with that accountability factor, we would rip it out of people who failed their maths and English in GCSE. We're in sixth form, like they're retaken. We're ripping it out of you because you should do better. We know you.
But that's where it's not like you're trying to put them down for putting them down's sake. You're trying to make them aware as a teammate, because you can say more than what a random person can say. This is the standard, Geese, because you're trying to bring them up to that standard. You're trying to make everyone succeed.
But even with the standard is always changing. It's not like the standard
is incrementally going up.
It wouldn't be I'm the best sports player. It could be I'm the best at English. So everyone's standard now has to be a bit here. It's like I'm the best at this, and everyone's standard just brings each other up. And those that don't like to be held accountable, they just start dropping off. And then you get left with what you'd call quote unquote the best.
Well,
completed.
Yeah.
I really was going to try, like, speak to anyone at the time. I was trying to leave the country every single month of 2020. I was on my catch me if you can vibe. Because you can go to Amsterdam for like 50 quid return.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, Amsterdam
on
weekend. Yes.
When did you go?
14.
What's 14?
I was 14 years old.
You were 14?
Yeah.
So when did you go? 14?
Yeah, so like 14 years ago.
Yeah, but is it 14 years ago you was 14?
Yeah, because I'm 28.
We don't want to do maths, we want to know when you went to Amsterdam, you know what I mean?
You said when? I was like 14 years
ago. No, but as if 14 answered all the questions. You know what I mean?
Really? I answered 14 years ago when I was 14. Like,
yeah, that's nuts, man.
But yeah.